welcome to Cass County Today. I'm here today with John Spann and Paul Hunt. They are with the Appleseed Project. Now, a lot of y'all are like me and you think, well, what is the Appleseed Project? I've never heard of that. Well, the Appleseed Project, maybe they can explain it better than I can. Go ahead and tell us a little bit, first of all, what it is and what it does.
Well, Sherry, the Appleseed Project is basically just a group of folks here in America, good Americans, who started realizing that we needed to learn where we came from. And so we started teaching folks about our heritage, and based on the events of April 19, 1775, and Paul Revere's ride.
Okay, I was going to say, take us back to that day, because for those of us who have slept since history class.
Well, they don't teach a whole lot of that anymore in school. But we teach it extensively at an Appleseed weekend. And we start off the day, we teach it in 3 different parts, which we call strikes. And we teach leading up to what started off that day, how the British troops marched from Boston to Lexington, Massachusetts, and then on to Concord, and then back towards Boston. And all the different things that happened that day, and what started the Revolutionary War.
See, now I'm very interested in history, so this fuels my fire. You're not saying very much, John.
It's interesting stuff, and he's doing the talking. So
we're not trying to take up his yap time, but I want to read you what it says here on the front of their brochure. It says that the Appleseed Project Rifleman course is designed to awaken the spirit of liberty and the personal responsibility in the heart and the mind of the American citizen. See, now I think that's all coming back around, that people with the Tea Party movement and all of the things going on in the political arena, I think people are getting back to this. Do you find that that's true?
Very much, Sherry, very much. We've got just lots of interest. The program is growing. It's about, 4 or 5 years old now, and I've been in it for 3 years myself. And I've done shoots all over the United States. I really have.
Wow, that's interesting.
Met good Americans everywhere. I went up to Waterman, Illinois last September. We did a shoot we had over 200 shooters at the event.
Cool.
We taught how to shoot to the standards of the American colonial riflemen back in the 1770s, and we did all of our history for the weekend and just had a marvelous time. And everybody walked away just thinking, wow, what a great weekend it was, and learned a lot. But Americans all over are finding that to be true and enjoying the weekend.
So really these classes, these weekends that you're talking about, they're going to teach me to shoot. And y'all, they've got us some targets here. Oh, look, we've got targets. I don't know how many of you are interested in shooting, but it is shooting rifles, you said.
right.
It's not just anything.
Yeah.
Well, no, we train on mostly 22 caliber rifles because we do a lot of shooting in a weekend. So basically, you bring what you can shoot 250 to 500 times in a weekend. 22 ammunition's a lot cheaper, so you can fire 500 rounds of 22 without breaking the bank.
Now, does it? See, I don't know anything about rifles. Does that kick?
No.
Is that going to make?
No.
It's not going to make my shoulder sore.
22 is not much more than a BB gun as far as recoil.
Oh. Well, I probably can do that then.
I bet you can.
Well, anyways, they're giving us, or if you want to sign up for the weekend class, so you'll be shooting targets. Oh, and check this out. You get a T-shirt, right? Everybody who participates gets a T-shirt.
Sure, like the one I'm wearing.
Yeah, and here's the back.
That's what mine looks like on the back.
Yeah, and this is cool. This is a cool thing. What if we don't have a gun? Can we still come? Will there be guns available to shoot with?
There may be.
But not promised.
Most instructors, Sherry, have extra 1 or 2 rifles with them that they're just more than happy to loan out.
I have one.
And I've got 2 that I loan out. But you can't count on having one if more than several people show up without rifles, then there won't be enough. So try to bring a rifle, a 22 rimfire, or a centerfire type, with magazine capability, so that you can insert a magazine with 2 rounds or 5 rounds or 8 rounds or 10 rounds. and that works. It's real conducive to our type of instruction.
Of course, if you've got a rifle with a tubular magazine, you can do that too. We just have to adapt the program a little bit to suit it.
Okay. Now, we've just done all this talking about what it is and what they're going to do, but we didn't tell them when. So you got 2 shoots coming up, right?
Yes, we got one coming up in Shreveport, the 19th and 20th of February.
Okay.
It's actually at the Bodcaw Wildlife Management Area northeast of Shreveport, about 30 miles. Beautiful range, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And then on April 16th and 17th, we're doing one here in Cass County out at Joe Harrison's ranch, Big Sandy Ranch out on FM 995.
That's by my house, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see how far to go.
About 4.5 miles out of Atlanta,
Yeah.
on the left going out of Atlanta.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we've got a great place out there to shoot.
It's a beautiful
Out
spot.
in boondocks where it won't
Yes.
disturb anybody.
Yeah. How many people do you usually have to sign up for your classes, your
Well,
workshops?
At Joe's, we could take as many as, he's got plenty of room.
Yes, he does.
So I've got it set for 50, but we could hold, just come on out. Just go to the website at, what is it, www.appleseedinfo.org, and go to the page where you can sign up on what we call Eventbrite, but it'll show you the dates and the locations, and for the one at Shreveport at Bodcaw Wildlife Management Area, it's the same basic thing on the 19th and 20th, which is just
right around the corner.
less than 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So come on out to that one, and then come on April the 16th and 17th to the one at the Harrison's place. That's the kind of our special flagship event for the year because it's related to April 19th, 1775.
Tell us a little bit about this book. He has this book, Paul Revere's Ride.
Yeah, I'll hold it up. It's a book, excellently written, historical narrative. The author is David Hackett Fisher, and I don't know if you can see it there, but it's entitled Paul Revere's Ride. It details the events that led up to the fateful day, April 19th. It talks extensively about the events of that day. It goes into what people were thinking, how they did what they did, and why, and leaves you with a real good foundation for how our country started and why it started.
Well, what I like about it particularly is that it talks from the perspective of the individuals who were there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's taken from interviews that these people gave anywhere from months to years after the fact. They wrote down their memoirs, they talked with journalists and recorded what they actually went through on during those times. And I find that it's fascinating because it doesn't give you the broad overview that you usually get in school or in history class. It brings it home on a personal level.
If you have, I don't know how much time we have, but if we do, I'd like to take a quick run through the targets.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
We start off with this redcoat down here, if you hold one up. John, when you first shot with us last spring, what did you think when you went through this redcoat target?
Well, I thought it was fairly simple myself because I've done a lot of shooting over the years, quite a bit of rifle shooting. I trained in the Army and high school ROTC before that, and believe it or not, I did fairly well on the first redcoat target.
Good.
What do most people do? Because
Well,
see, that looks like a small target to me.
You get people who can almost clean it to people who start off not knowing how to shoot any of it.
That'd
So
be
you get
me.
it all over the
Right.
spectrum. But how many rounds go in that target, John?
13.
In this one?
13 rounds. And why do we do the 13?
Represents the original 13
13
colonies.
colonies. See?
Oh,
Little symbolism.
yeah.
We do a lot of symbolism
Yeah, that's
stuff.
cool.
But if you notice, the targets are different size. And they represent a target at 100 yards, what that same target would look like at 200, 300, 400 yards. And this little square represents what a British officer's, the size of a British officer's head would be at 250 yards. And the reason we do that is because our colonial forefathers who were fresh off of the French and Indian Wars were excellent marksmen, whereas the British regular troops were not. And they could hit that size of a target. They could hit a headshot, make a headshot at 250 yards all day long. And so that gave them the advantage to winning the Revolutionary War because they could shoot.
That's
And,
interesting.
yeah.
Of course, I would never have thought that that would be the size of a person's head, 250
Well,
yards
Yeah,
away.
that's about what it looks
Yeah,
like at
that's awesome.
250 yards.
And then to shoot that?
Yeah, with the old flintlock type rifles, you know,
Scopes.
you put the powder in and the
Yeah.
lead bullet and a little powder on the pen, and just as you squeeze the trigger, you turn your head. That's what the British regulars
They were
did.
good marksmen.
And these guys were quite good.
Well, tell us about this one then.
Well, the next target that we shoot on is not that one.
Oh, it's not?
It's this one right here. And as John can tell you, that's the one where you really learn. Isn't that
Really?
right, John?
Yes, it is. Because we'll start out shooting at one of these little squares, usually the one in the center, so that we can see where you're hitting in general, so that we can make corrections to your form and your procedures,
Yeah.
so that you're able to make smaller groups. And then as you're able to get smaller groups, we go to the smaller, the outer outlying targets, so that they're not falling off the paper so much.
These are 1-inch squares on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and we teach 3 positions: prone, laying down, and sitting and standing. We start off with prone and get your form and your just the basics of shooting down, and then we go to standing and sitting, and so we go through the 6 steps to firing a shot, and all of the different nuances of that for each form,
Yeah.
standing, sitting, or prone. And once we get through with all of that, then we go to this target, that one.
Well, this one
which
after
is-
that should be easy to hit. This one's much
yeah,
bigger.
You'd think.
You would think.
Except,
We throw dirt in the game.
we have, Sherry, a little saying in Appleseed that learning an Appleseed weekend is sort of like drinking water from a fire hydrant, if you can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
And we throw a lot of information at you fast, and so you have to be quick and absorb. But this target takes all of the things that you have learned on the squares, okay, and puts it all together. So the top one is shot standing. Incidentally, I didn't tell everybody, this is at 25 meters or 82 feet that this target is shot at. But you've got 2 minutes standing, 10 rounds on the top, okay?
That's pretty fast. 2 minutes goes by quickly.
That's a world of time.
That's
You
a
think
world
so?
of time.
Sure.
Wait till you get, this one is shot sitting. You have basically 1 minute, and you have to do a mag change
Oh.
And a
Okay.
transition.
Oh.
and the transition. We'll keep throwing stuff at you. This one, the third stage, is another 10 rounder with a mag change, and it's about a minute. And then the last one is shot prone, and it's 10 rounds, but 1 mag, like standing only, it's prone, and you have 5 minutes to shoot that one.
That does seem like a world of time after the 2 minutes
It
of
is.
the
Oh,
1
yeah.
minute targets.
And so basically it's a 40 round target, and if you make 210 points or more on it, you get one of these. And let's
Oh, you
see
love-
here. See that?
Yeah.
Hold that up for the audience.
It's rifleman on it. I don't know if you can
That's
see it.
our rifleman patch that says that you have shot to the standards of the Colonial Rifleman.
That is so cool.
And
13 stars
you
around
might
here, by the way.
think, yes, and you might think that that's easy to do, but
I
it
don't
is
think
not.
so.
Am I
No.
right, John?
You're right. I went to my first Appleseed back in May of last year.
But what got you interested in it? How'd you hear about it?
Well, I like I said, I've been a rifle shooter for many years.
Okay.
I bought an old M1 rifle off the Civilian Marksmanship Program, and on their website it mentioned the Appleseed program. So I went and checked it out and found that there was going to be an event close by. I went to that one in May.
And here we are a year later,
But-
nearly.
I'll have to say that I'm probably typical of the average guy who goes out there Oh,
Yeah.
I can do that, no problem. Just,
Yeah.
well, it was in May. I think the temperature was probably between 85 and 90 degrees out there, and we were out in the sun.